So hello again. For those of you who were not here this morning, I introduced myself as Linda Gu. I am the nursing director here at the conference. I would like to welcome you all to the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing admissions panel, which will cover both traditional and accelerated bachelor's programs. Today, we are very excited to have 5 speakers representing schools from across the country. The first part of the panel will be dedicated to introductions and a brief overview of each of the nursing programs. The second half of the panel will be dedicated to answering questions which we have previously submitted by our speakers. So to get started, if we could have all our speakers introduce themselves and the name of your school, and if we could start with Ms. Circelli, that would be great.
Okay, great. My name is Filomena Circelli. I work at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, so really excited to be on the West Coast. I work at the nursing school, and should I mention the programs? Wait. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rhonda Flenoy-Younger. I'm Director of Recruitment, Outreach, and Admissions at UCLA School of Nursing.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Liza Osoteo. I'm the admissions counselor at Merritt University, and I look forward to telling you about our programs.
Hi, I'm Bridget Parsh. I'm from Sacramento State School of Nursing, and I was here last year. It was fantastic. I also have 2 students they're going to wave. And in case you guys have questions after, if you want to know what it's like at our program.
Good morning. My name is Peggy Valentine. I serve as Dean of the School of Health Sciences at Winston-Salem State University, one of the constituent schools of the University of North Carolina system.
Thank you all. Let's give a round of applause. So now, if we could get started with each of you introducing the programs offered by your school and the duration of each of those programs, that would be wonderful. If we could start from Dr. Valentine's end, please.
Certainly. At Winston-Salem State University, we have a number of programs. The traditional program is 4 years in length. Students are required to complete 2 years of general education requirements, and then the nursing program itself is 2 years. We also have an accelerated nursing program for students who have a degree in anything. It doesn't matter what it is, but as long as you have the prerequisites, you can complete a nursing program, have a BSN within 13 months. We also have the RN to BSN program for those who have an associate's degree in nursing. You can enroll, it could be online, or we have 19 sites throughout the state, and you can complete that program within 13 months as well. We have the Master of Science of Nursing and the Doctor of Nursing Practice. Recently, we just started the Bridges to the PhD with Duke University, so we have that collaboration as well. So there are a variety of opportunities.
Hi, at Sacramento State, we have 3 main programs. Our first is a 2-year BSN program. You have to complete, takes you about 2.5 years, 3 years, 2 years. These guys are saying 2. I have met very few that have done it in 2, so nice job. But 2 years of prereqs, and then 2-year program. We do not have a fast track BSN program, second bachelor's program anymore, so in case you're wondering, we get that question a lot. We have a master's program, and we also have an RN to BSN program, and that you kind of do on your own time, so some people take 1.5 years, some take a little more, some go a little faster. Kind of depends on you, how many classes you want to take at the same time.
Okay, we have a lot of programs, a lot of nursing programs at Merritt University, and if I forget one, you could go on our website at samuelmerritt.edu. I'll start from the BSN and work my way up. So we have a traditional BSN that you could do your 2 years of general education units and then transfer and then do 2 years of nursing with us. We also have what's called a 2+2 program. We have a partnership with, and this is actually ideal for freshmen. So I'm telling you this in case you know any freshmen who want to become nurses. Freshmen, and I should say, in college. So we have a partnership program with 3 institutions, Holy Names, Mills, and Notre Dame. If you maintain a certain GPA, you have guaranteed admission to our nursing program. So you do 2 years with our partners, then 2 years with us. So those are our 2 BSN programs. We also have an accelerated BSN program. This is ideal for people who, again, already have a bachelor's degree, and that's a 1-year RN BSN program, 1 year. It's really fast. If you already have a bachelor's degree and it's not your goal to get a BSN, we have an entry-level M.S.N, and that allows you to get your RN in 16 months, and then you continue on for either 2 more years or 3 more years to get your M.S.N. in Case Management, or M.S.N. in Family Nurse Practitioner. And if you're already an RN, we have regular M.S.N. FNP programs, as well as an M.S.N. CRNA program and an M.S.N. in Case Management. And then finally, we just started an FNP DNP program for people who are already RNs. If you don't want to make that commitment, you could always do the M.S.N. and then DNP afterwards. And the DNP actually is for any advanced practice nurse. So that's what we have at Samuel Merritt University.
So at UCLA, we have a traditional BSN program. It's a Bachelor's of Science with a major in nursing, but we say BSN when we're speaking to people because it doesn't make a difference if you have a BS with a major in nursing or a BSN. We have a traditional program where we admit high school students directly into the nursing major. It's a 4-year program, and then we do accept transfer students, and that's a 3-year program, the transfer program. And then we have an entry-level master's program, and that is our second degree program for those that have a bachelor's in another discipline. That's a 2-year program, and at the end of the 2 years, you'll graduate with a Master's of Science in Nursing degree and eligible to take the boards for your RN license. We also have an advanced practice master's program, as well as a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy program, and we do admit BSN to PhD, as well as entry-level master's to PhD and advanced practice master's to PhD.
So at the University of Pennsylvania, we also have programs pretty much for everyone at different stages. We have a traditional 4-year BSN. It's an integrated 4-year program, so you start nursing courses freshman year, you do your liberal arts freshman year, and it's integrated through the full 4 years, and that's for anyone coming straight from high school. We also have a transfer program for students who are at another university or college looking to transfer to finish their BSN, and it takes 2.5 to 3 years to finish your BSN. We also have an accelerated program for students who have completed a bachelor's degree in another field. Under the accelerated umbrella, we offer 3 different options. You can come and just do your BSN second degree program, which is 18 months. You can apply to our direct entry BSN to M.S.N., and you're eligible to apply to all 15 M.S.N. specialties that we offer. The BSN portion is also 18 months, and the M.S.N. is dependent on the specialty. And then we also offer direct entry BSN to PhD. That's under the accelerated umbrella. We also offer straight M.S.N. program for those of you who already have a BSN across 15 different specialties. And we have a PhD, which can be completed, direct entry from the BSN, direct entry from the M.S.N. It's up to you.
Thank you for that information. Another question that we have for all of you is, what are the prerequisites for each of your program? It's a great way to know how to prepare, how to get in. So if we could start with Ms. Circelli again.
Okay, sure. So for the traditional BSN program, there are no prerequisite courses. You're just applying from high school. So for anyone who's in high school, definitely check out the website. There are recommended courses you should take while you're in high school, AP honors courses, the SATs, and then the SAT2s or the ACTs. For the transfer students, there are 3 courses that we require in order to start the program. We start in September of every year: Intro to Chemistry, Intro to Bio, Intro to Anatomy. We recommend that you have additional courses completed, but you can start the program with just those 3 classes. In addition to those, you can also complete Intro to Physiology, Intro to Microbiology, Statistics, Nutrition, Bioethics. Those are specific to nursing. For the accelerated program, no matter which program you complete, we require the list of nursing prerequisite courses to be completed by the time you begin the program. So that's Intro to General Chemistry, Intro to Biology, Intro to Anatomy and Physiology, Intro to Microbiology, all with the lab, Intro to Statistics, Intro to Nutrition. For the M.S.N., you have to have a BSN to begin the program, and for the PhD, it depends when you're applying to the PhD. You can apply after your BSN and do a direct M.S.N. to PhD. You can apply after your M.S.N.
Okay, so do you just want us to speak on the bachelor's program or all of our programs? Because this is a BSN panel. So.
Right. I think it's helpful if we have all of it, but due to time, if we could just focus on the BSN, that'd be great. Thank you.
So for our freshman applicants, we go under the umbrella of the UC, so you have to be UC eligible to apply to our program. There is we'll probably get to the applications later. For transfer students, if you're transferring from a community college in California, we require the IGETC. If you're transferring from another four-year institution, you have to complete your general ed at the institution that you're attending. And then there are additional prerequisite courses for the nursing major, human anatomy, human physiology, microbiology, intro or general psych, written communications, 3 chemistry courses, 2 biology courses that are equivalent to the courses offered at UCLA.
You said the IGETC?
Yes. The IGETC are your general ed requirements. It's an agreement between the UCs and the Cal States and the community colleges here in California. Mm-hmm.
I think half the challenge of getting into nursing school is actually fulfilling the prerequisites, and to make it even more challenging is they're not always the same across the board. So what I often recommend to students when they're looking, apply to as many nursing programs as you can, and then make an Excel spreadsheet and go on the website and, say, like, for Samuel Merritt, this is what you need. For UCLA, this is what you need. For, et cetera. And you'll see that there'll be some overlap, but they're not exactly the same. What I would recommend, because I get confused myself, is to go on our website and take a look at the BSN prerequisites. I will say this, probably across the board, almost all nursing programs require chemistry, anatomy with lab, and I should say chemistry with lab, microbiology with lab, physiology with the lab. So those you could pretty much count on. You're not going to waste your time taking those classes. Yeah, you had a question back there?
Say you have finished all these intensive science courses, but there's this minor stuff that you missed to transfer to other colleges. Is it possible we could finish it at that college we transferred to, or do we have to,
take it at your undergrad?
fill in the minor stuff in order to apply for that particular nursing school?
Well, I think for our particular program, there are a lot of students who discover nursing after they graduate, in which case they're fine to go to a community college. But it is also probably going to depend, so you want to check with all the nursing programs that you're interested in, what are they going to accept. But I would just encourage you, definitely go on our websites, in all of our websites, just to see in paper, these are the specific prerequisites that we require.
Great. So I'm from Sac State, so I love what Liza was saying about go on the website, because we don't want to confuse you guys with all this information. But one thing I do want to say is there's 6 things that we look at Sac State, and 2 of them are worth 50 points each, and the rest of those other little 4 are worth 3 points each. And most of you probably know that one of these is the GPA. And so I've got to emphasize to you, no matter what nursing program you're applying to, it's important to try to get good grades in these science classes that they're talking about. You're talking about a 5-unit chem class, and you get a C in that. That's really, it's going to be really tough to get into any program. And I don't want to sugarcoat it here, because you guys have put a lot of time and effort into coming here, so I want to tell you, live your dream, and even if you have a C, you can still be a nurse. I want to be your cheerleader, and I'm there for you. But I also want you to know that your GPA has a heavy weight no matter where you apply. So you've got to look at those classes, but you've got to really shoot for the high grades, because these are worth 50 points each. The GPA is worth 50, and then there's a test that you have to take. It's kind of like the SAT for nursing school, and that's worth 50 also. So doing well in your courses is going to help you on that exam. So that's probably the best advice that I have. And again, look at all of our websites to get the information. And making little folders is super helpful. Hi. Yes, I am. Yeah, the T's. It's a test of essential academic skills, but it's sort of like a SAT kind of plan. Yeah. Hi, one more. Hi. Oh, right.
Any of the 3 previous people, do your schools have a minimum GPA requirement? Because I know that Sac State's pretty much does. So.
Mm-hmm. For UCLA, for transfer students, the minimum GPA is a 3.5. And to answer the previous question about taking courses at the campus, prerequisite courses, UCLA will allow you to take 4 prerequisite courses while you're in the nursing program for those that are applying to transfer. Those are calculus, general psych, microbiology, and communications. And then we don't require the T's.
These are some great questions. I know you have a lot of questions, but if we could kind of hold those off till a little later and let them finish covering the basics, that'd be great. And I'm sure if they're willing to afterwards, you can ask questions outside. Thank you.
Okay, at Winston-Salem State, our grade point average minimum requirement is 2.6. And that's interesting that how we're different, but we still have outstanding outcomes. In addition to a 2.6 grade point average requirement, we require the students get a minimum score of 470 on the reading portion of the SAT, and because a lot of our students come right out of high school, so 470 will be the minimum requirement. So it's a 2-tier admission, so you apply to the university as a freshman, and then to get into nursing, you'd have to apply for the Division of Nursing. And so we take transfer students as well as students who are already on campus. And so the course requirements are the same as all the other nursing programs, chemistry, micro, and so forth.
Thank you. That's wonderful. So we have covered all of our basic questions for now, and attendees have submitted some questions previous to today that we would love to ask. So let's hear them. The first question that we have is there a recommended major one should choose to get into the healthcare or nursing field? Are there specific majors you favor more over others? Could Ms. Osoteo please answer this one?
Sure. So for people who are coming into our accelerated program, which requires a bachelor's, we love anyone from any background. And I love to brag about the students we've had in the past. We've had opera singers, we've had pastry chefs, we've had financial planners, we've had attorneys. We like people from all over because, you know, nursing's diverse, and we don't want a cookie-cutter type of person. We want, you know, people like you that are, you're going to bring something to the table. So no, the answer is no, there isn't a particular major that we look for.
If any of you have anything to add, feel free to go ahead.
The same for UCLA for entry-level masters. You can have a bachelor's of arts, science. It doesn't matter because you take a lot of sciences for the prerequisites. You'll get that science background that you need. And the good thing about the second degree programs is that people come with different experiences to the nursing program and share their experience, and it really makes it special, the way they learn and they share, and it's an awesome program for people that already have a bachelor's degree to change their career to nursing.
It's the same for the University of Pennsylvania. You can have a degree in anything, in any field. It doesn't matter.
Same.
Okay. The next question that we have is, what traits do you look for in applicants? What traits are off-putting to deans of admission?
So we do a holistic review of the whole student. We at UCLA are looking for leaders, so that's a plus. Multicultural experience, that you've taken the time to volunteer in a healthcare facility, and there's something flying around in here. Those are the main things we look for. There are additional things that can give you extra points, but the main things are leadership, multicultural experience, and if you're not working in a healthcare environment, that you've taken the time to volunteer.
At Winston-Salem State University, we are also looking for students from diverse backgrounds. We promote diversity. We want students who are committed to compassionate care, students who are culturally appropriate, and students who want to learn more about cultural diversity and how can we best diversify the healthcare workforce. We're located in a community where there are many underserved populations where 40% have no health insurance. And so those individuals who come from those regions, we like, and students who want to serve those populations. So that's what we're looking for.
I think I was talking about our 6, and one of the 6 that's worth 3 points is volunteering. You can either work or volunteer in healthcare with humans. We used to let people that worked in vet clinics, and they were really good in neonatal ICU, where the patients don't talk. But now we have it that you have to have been with a human. And that really does help people, especially in their first semester, because your first semester, you go into a room, and I'm going to use you as my patient, and you're alone in a room with a person who is sick. And we had some students that hadn't volunteered or worked before, and they were really nervous, which we appreciate, we understand, but they didn't want to be with sick people all day and having to actually touch them. And so it was very good. I know that sounds really strange, like you want to be a nurse, but that's part of it. Like being inside all day with sick people is a reality of nursing. So, and don't make up a story about how you're going to work in Yosemite, because I've worked in Yosemite, and you are inside the clinic all day with sick people in Yosemite. Okay, so we're working with sick people. So getting some experience being around people who are sick is very helpful for yourself, because then you know that this is actually what you want to do. So we've had people drop out after the first semester, first few weeks actually, because they just didn't want to be alone with a person who's ill. Kind of scared them a little bit, so hopefully that'll give you something to think about.
Our next question is, what is the #1 thing that you would advise students to do?
Oh, I would think the most important thing to do is spend time with nurses, whether it's talking to them, volunteering, shadowing them. I mean, if you want to be a nurse, you need to hang out with the people who do nursing, and that's probably the best thing that you could do.
I agree. I think giving yourself exposure to healthcare and making sure that that exposure involves interacting with nurses and nurse practitioners, and if possible, in different settings, right? Because you can be in one setting, and it can be a completely different experience in another setting, which can really open your eyes to another field that you might be interested in. So just getting out there and getting exposure to the field.
I would add to that, at our university, 1 out of every 4 students come say they want to be a nurse, and that's like over 1,000 people a year. And, but a lot of them don't like science. And so if you don't like science, it's going to be hard to do nursing. So make sure you enjoy science.
We have another question that is addressing
I think it's networking a little bit. So if you know somebody who works in a hospital, reach out to them. Someone who works in a clinic, reach out to them. Your university, your college, go to the Career Services Center. Sometimes they have a really nice alumni network where they will put you in contact with alumni from that school that are in different professions. But it's definitely kind of just networking and getting yourself out there. You might knock on 20 doors and only one is going to open. It will open for you. A lot of hospitals, it can be difficult because of HIPAA and hospital regulations. Look outside the box if you can't get into a hospital setting. Don't look at just the teaching hospitals. Look at the smaller community hospitals, nursing homes, clinics, Planned Parenthood, all of that.
It's really hard now. It's not as easy as it was before because of HIPAA. So again, go to the nursing homes or smaller hospitals.
Just one tip about that. When people come and ask me, when they come to my office and they're wanting to meet me and all that, and they want to go and do a shadow day, and this may sound bad, but I need to know that you're not going to show up on shadow day wearing jeans and Uggs. It has happened. Uggs are not, I love them, have some, but that's not an appropriate thing to wear when you're going to be around people that are ill or bleeding, right? You can appreciate that. You know how they get when the snow? It's not good. So you want to look professional and show that when you show up to the hospital, you're going to be that way too. So that's just a little tip, because if I think you're going to just show up with in shorts and a tank top, then that's not going to work out well for me, trying to keep a good relationship with my hospital. So that's just a little tip for when you get in there. Yeah, okay, hopefully that didn't sound mean, but I'm just trying to give you some pointers there. Okay?
Those are great pieces of advice. So since we've had a lot of tips on what to do, a question that would be good to ask is, do you have any advice for students who did not get into nursing school?
There are so many other professions. If you're really stuck on nursing, I often advise students to get a degree in another healthcare field, and you can always backtrack and do accelerated nursing. So that's what some students have done. And then you may find that some of the other health professions may be satisfactory, you know, as long as you work in the healthcare environment. We've had a number of students go into healthcare management as an option. Some students will get a degree and they go on to physical therapy or occupational therapy. So there are many ways that you can work in the healthcare setting. And so just don't limit yourself because, you know, there are just so many opportunities out there.
Real quick, I meet a lot of people that get really discouraged when they don't get into the program, and it kind of spirals them a little bit, and they drop out of college. Don't let that be you, because the thing that really is going to make a difference for you and your family for generations is you graduating from college. Not just taking a few classes in college. That doesn't make any impact like you would think it would. It's the degree. It doesn't matter what it's in. That's what changes your family trajectory. I mean, you have all heard the stories about people winning the lottery and they just spend it all in one day. And it's true that makes no difference to your grandchildren if you win the lottery. None. Education is the one thing that will affect your grandchildren and in a positive way. So just really seriously graduate, and don't go into the spiral of depression if you couldn't be the nurse you always dreamed of that you saw on Grey's Anatomy. That person doesn't exist, okay? So we want you to graduate no matter what the degree is, okay? That's most important.
And yesterday at the fair, I met this young man that applied as a freshman to UCLA. He didn't get in. He applied as a transfer to UCLA. He didn't get in. And he said he's going to apply to our entry-level master's program. And I told him in his essay that he writes for admissions to include that in his essay, because it's looked positive at UCLA that he is determined to come to UCLA for nursing. So it's looked at positively, showing us that he's worked really hard to increase his chances of getting into the program. So don't give up. Don't ever give up on your dream.
I agree. And we've had students who've reapplied to our program. So they might have applied to the accelerated program. They were not accepted, maybe waitlisted or denied, and they reapply even the following year. The most important thing is that if you decide to reapply, is that you have something new within that year, right? An additional science course, even if it's not a prereq, an advanced level science course to kind of show the admissions committee, I'm committed to this field and I'm doing well in this science course. I know it's extra work that might not, kind of check off anything, and additional experience and additional exposure. Also look at research opportunities. I mean, for a lot of the universities in this area, they have amazing faculty that do great research. It's another avenue to get in. There's clinical trials, there's clinical research if you don't want to do bench science. But if you reapply, make sure you're not resubmitting the same application. And you should, this is my recommendation to those that reapply, add a separate statement that talks about your commitment to the field and what you've done in this past year. It can be part of your personal statement if it makes sense, but if it doesn't make sense, add that additional statement. So, just definitely, and really just kind of map it out, and don't be very impulsive and just like, I'm just gonna reapply and just resubmit the same application, because it won't work.
I think the last thing I would like to add is, say you applied your first time and didn't get in. Part of being at admissions, which I'm in, is to meet with a person. So don't be shy. Come and say, I'd like to get some feedback, and we're always happy to do that.
So we have about 5 minutes left, and we'll ask just a few more questions. Could Dr. Valentine address this one? Do students who graduate from a 4-year institution have a higher chance of getting admitted than students who graduate from a community college or state school?
From my perspective, it doesn't matter. It basically is what the individual has accomplished in her or his lifetime. Looking at your grade point average, looking at your other requirements for admission, but we look at the whole person. And so where you went to school, to us, is irrelevant. It's based on you as an individual, what you've been able to accomplish. We like a variety of students who have come from different walks of life. And so for us, we engage the differences that students come from different institutions.
Could we have one more representative address that?
I agree. We're always looking for diversity, and diversity means a lot of things. So we have students from large state universities, small liberal arts colleges, international students, students from across the country. So as long as you do well in your coursework and you really prepare your application and take the time to get the exposure and take the time to kind of put it all together, and highlight what is going to make you stand out in the pool and why you've chosen this field, I don't think it matters.
Thank you.
And that's the same for transfer students. We accept students from community colleges and from four-year and state schools that are looking to transfer to Penn.
So our second to last question is for Ms. Flenoy-Younger. What is the main error applicants make during the admissions process?
For UCLA, one of the most important part of your application is your statement of purpose. We don't interview, so that's where the applicant gets to tell us about yourself. And if in the statement of purpose, you're not telling the reviewer why you want to be a nurse, you won't get in.
Mm-hmm. I agree, 100%.
We really want to know why nursing, and not because of the salary.
Yeah, don't mention the salary.
Great answer. Okay. Our last question is, what is the outlook on job stability and job availability for those entering nursing school in the next few years? Could Dr. Parsh answer this?
Give me the hardest one. No, nursing, you saw that graph, and that was very uplifting, what the UCSF dean was talking about as far as jobs go. And just from my experience in nursing, you just never know. I mean, you never know if there's going to be, it helps if you're able to move to other states. Not a lot of us can do that. You've got to be flexible, that you may not get that nursing hospital job that you were hoping for. But we do hope that with the economy getting better, and a lot of people that I know that are my age, they worked part-time, but then when their wife lost their job, the nurse went full-time. So that took up a lot of jobs. So we did see a lot of that. So I hope that it's positive, and I guess is this what we would say, guys?
Well, I think it's also regional. So being in California, we have students from California that come to the University of Pennsylvania, and it is a lot harder to find a position in California than the East Coast.
Oh, that's good. So we're
It's
going to send some of our people, because our people are having a tough go.
Yeah, it's a little bit tougher.
It's getting a little better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Send to LA too.
Yeah.
Right. It is getting. Southern California is better than Northern California. We're hiring more now, new grads.
Northern California,
Yeah.
it pays more though.
That's true. But we have more openings for new grads. So it is getting better in Southern California.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Could we give them a wonderful round of applause?